1989 you started Smithalaya, isn't it?
Yeah. Smee died in 86.
Yeah.
Actually, how Smithalaya happened was two reasons. Smita had died in 86.
Yeah.
And in 1988, when I was touring North America, last 5 or 6 performances were left, and I had a major slip disc attack.
Slip disc.
Yeah. And with painkillers, I did do 3-4 performances, and last 5, but it was still hurting. And I had some friends, and then I was advised that you have to cancel your tour and go back. And in fact, the doctor in Anita, that is Smita's older sister, used to live in Chicago that time.
Yeah.
So she was the one who said, she took me to a doctor, the MRI was done, and it was in a bad state. The back was in a bad state. That man said, how are you dancing? I said, with all these painkillers. He said, don't do that, please don't do that. You will mess up your back. By the time you go home, you may not be able to walk.
Yeah.
Then I was shit scared. I said, forget dance, like I should be able to walk and be normal. So I had cancelled and I had gone home, and then in fact the doctors in the US had said you will have to undergo a surgery, back surgery. When I came here, I was told to go to 2 people. Both a little orthodox type, that who would rather do something else than have the surgery. One was Dr. Chaubal and one was Dr. Pandya in KEM. Dr. Chaubal had his private practice. Chaubal said, yeah, you can rest for a month and you can get up to go to the bathroom and all that. It will be all right. And Dr. Pandya said that, no, if you don't want surgery, the orthodox method is 24 hours in bed. No getting up for anything. So I pleaded with him, please, at least for this, let me go. So he said, look, whatever good you've done in 24 hours, you get up for 10 minutes, it's all gone. So you have to lay flat in bed. And I think because I listened to him.
24 hours?
24 hours, 1 month.
Oh, really?
Yes. We had a low bed. I still remember my son, this was 88. So my son was 7 years old. My mother would come in the morning, cook, keep my khana on a table covered up, keep the pot near the bed, keep water there. I was allowed to turn like this, but I had to be horizontal. And my son would be downstairs with the grandmother. She'd started a creche in the building, and mummy would then lock me because my husband also had to go to the office. And not the whole month that I was alone, but quite often, at least 15 days, it was like that. In that month where I was alone at home. And then I would read, but how much to read? Then I was thinking that will I be able to dance? Because my doctor had said that you've done statistics, computers is going to be a big thing. Just switch careers. I said, I've switched careers once and this has become my passion. I can't
He wanted you to come back to maths.
Because he said that suppose your back gives way, what are you going to do? You have something else to fall back on. So I said, no, but doctor, I want to dance. So anyway, when I was lying down in bed in that 1 month, I thought that suppose I cannot dance myself, what will I do? I said that till then I was just teaching a few friends' daughters, but aise hi, matlab chalo, not very sincerely, okay, as a pastime. That's when I thought that if I cannot dance myself, but my back will be well enough for me to be able to teach. Because performing, you have to be at it for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Teaching, you teach a little bit, you rest, you teach a little bit, you rest. That can happen. So I said, I'll teach more with more sincerity, dedication. Let me form a school. And that's when I got this idea that why not dedicate it to Smita? Because when she was alive, she would try to come for Guruji's workshops, sit with Guruji, watch us through a busy schedule of shooting. And she was very, very passionate about it. But she knew she can't do dance.
Yeah.
But at least she was there and she would push me, do this, do that, like that. So I said, yeah, I'll start a school. And first I had thought of naming it Nritya Smee. Because then it has, I used to call her Smee. So Smee and Nritya. But then my uncle means Vasant Bapat. He says Nritya Smee has no meaning. He says make it Smitalay. Smitalay, alay means home.
Yeah.
So the home, like how we say Vidyalay.
Yeah.
So that way if you name it Smitalay, then it is Smita's home, or where Smita's memory will
Yeah.
stay on forever and ever. That's how Smitalai happened. So basically, it was her death and my bad back. So I always say things happen for the best. Like if my back hadn't gone that miserably bad, maybe I would have concentrated more on my solo career.
Yeah. And not the
So much
ballets.
and maybe would have come to teaching, because I did enjoy teaching mathematics in MMK. So teaching I did enjoy.
Yeah.
But maybe I would have come to it at a later stage.
Yeah.
But this happened, and both grew simultaneously. My solo career as well as Smitalai.
You have kind of tried to put Odyssey in the Marathi language context, you know. How did Guru Kelucharan react to that? You know, the Odyssey is never done to Marathi,
Yeah.
but you have used Marathi abhangs and all.
See, the very first time I did it was when Smitalai was formed, and I called Guruji for the inaugural, like saying like, this is Smitalai, and I had a program. And because we didn't have funds, there was no live music, it was all recorded music, and only one item was a Marathi song. It was not classical, it was so Marathi आम्ही भावगीत म्हणतो.
Yeah.
So a little bit like that, and with tabla and little, you know, not classical music at all, but it was Radha Madhava Khelati Ras. That means it's Radha and Krishna and all the gopis and their love play.
Yeah.
Basically it was that. And I had elaborated on it the way we have Sanchari Bhavs, like you have a line and you express the meaning in different ways. So I had done that to this Marathi song. And the music was very different. But the first show was in Dinanath and the hall was full, and the maximum response was for this song. And this was 89 when Smitalai was started. And immediately after that we had Guruji's workshop at NCPA. And I wanted to know Guruji's reaction. I would go every day 15 minutes before the workshop so that he will say something to me where he was staying, not the class, and he would never say anything to me. And I was so miserable because Bankim was 7 years old. In the morning I had to cook, make my dabba, make Bankim's dabba, make my husband's dabba, and then train pakad ke NCPA pahuncho, and ye buddha kuch nahi bolta mujhe, you know. That's how I used to genuinely feel, but I couldn't say that to him. And 3-4 days, and his wife had openly told me that how much she loved it. Okay.
She loved it.
She loved it. This old man didn't say he loved it, didn't say he didn't like it, didn't say anything, he just didn't mention anything. You know. So then one day, I think it was the 4th or 5th day, he was shaving, and I went and sat next to him. And because you don't ask, you know, and at that time I wasn't that close to him. Suddenly he would burst like a volcano, then you better keep quiet. Because and I hadn't told him earlier that I'm doing this. Because if I tell him earlier, Marathi gaane pe kar raha hai, abhi tu mere se mat seek, get out. Aisa ho gaya to main kya karu? So I hadn't told him earlier. Anyway, this 4th or 5th day, then finally his wife says, that poor thing, you know, in Udiya she said, like, chatak pakshi jaise wo, you know, aake, she's wanting you to, and you just, if you want to shout at her, shout at her. If you haven't liked it, tell her.
His wife said
yes. Say something, poor child. And see, being a woman, she knew that what all I have to go through before coming for this workshop. She would say, ये आदमी फिर सिर्फ सिखाता है, मुझे मालूम है कि तू क्या क्या करके आती है घर में. You know, like, so I think she had a different this to me. And so she said, you tell her. Then he took me close. पहले दाढ़ी होने दो, फिर बोलता हूँ. Then he finished his shaving and then he told me, to tell you frankly, when the music started, I was upset.
He was upset.
I was very upset. I said, what is happening? What is this girl doing? This prime student of mine on this music, she's doing Odyssey. He said, that was my first reaction. But as the item, it was a 12-minute piece. He said, as the item progressed, I saw that this whole hall, your Marathi audience, is responding so well to it Then I thought, it was very difficult for me, but I thought, अगर ये लड़की मेरा ओडिसी उसके महाराष्ट्र में उसके भाषा में कर रहा है, he never used the feminine this, वो कर रहा है, तो मेरा मन इतना दुखी क्यों हो रहा है? But it is taking me time to accept, but go ahead. Then I said, okay, what was wrong, what was right? You have to tell me something, you know. जैसे करके जाओगी तो पता चलेगा क्या गलत है. Because see, the dance was completely Odyssey. Technically, there was no movement that was different. Because to me, even, I mean, Odyssey is a dance form that can be done to any kind of music. And now one of my students has come. So we have experimented basically for lay public to know what is Odyssey by dancing it to music that is appealing to them. So that's how the Marathi started. And you know, later on he composed, he choreographed to one some Marathi song in Aurangabad.
Oh, really?
Yes, for I think for Parvati Datta's student, I forget, but he did it.
But you did Janabai and Chokha.
That is recently. This
It
was
was recent, is it?
Zanabai last year only I did.
Yeah.
2 years back.
But in all your programs, you have included some Marathi language, right?
Not all. It depends on the audience.
Acha.
Like if it's going to be a majorly Marathi, I mean Maharashtrian audience, then I will include more Marathi. It depends on what. Like we have done to a lot of Marathi.
The only other person I can remember who did it is Sucheta Chapekar. She did Bharatnatyam for some Marathi
Yeah,
songs.
but Marathi means written by Sarvoji Raje Bhosle.
Yeah, it was in Carnatic style.
It was Carnatic music
Yeah,
only.
yeah.
So basically, see, once the Marathi language is rendered in Carnatic music, it is broken up in a way that you can't really, the Maharashtrian normal lay mind cannot relate to.
Relate to the language. That's what
language,
it is. Because it is set to a different music.
Yeah. Whereas I didn't do that.
Acha.
I later on, I did Marathi with Odia music. I did do that. But earlier I did basically to reach the Maharashtrian audience, music which would appeal to them. And the language will be understood. That way I did initially. Then I molded into the Odia.
Okay. Do you have also taken some elements from the history of Maharashtra, like you have done ballet on Savithri Phule? I've seen that you did it in Bombay University.
Yeah. See, Savithri Phule happened, basically I should Lalita Dhara from Ambedkar College. Basically, it was her idea. She came to me, actually, I still remember how she came to me. She said that we want to do something on Savithri Bai Phule, and she says, I love the Odyssey dance form, and you know, your face will fit Savithri Bai perfectly, and also you do all these innovative things, so I've come to you. And so I was also a little excited. So initially it was just going to be me doing something.
Yeah.
Then, but see, usually I feel, my mother used to tell me, yours is a snowball effect. You start with something and it goes on and it goes on and goes on and it becomes a big thing. So initially, like she said that Savithri Bai has written poems.
Yeah.
And she was the one who told me that Savithri Bai has written letters to, in that time.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, when women were not educated, this woman studied and she wrote letters to her husband.
Yeah.
So that kind of really excited me. And then I have this friend who is a theatre personality and who acts in serials, Suhita Thatte.
Achha.
So I was talking to her, and then suddenly I said, why don't you also be part of it? I'll be the dancing Savithri, you be the talking Savithri.
Talking Savithri, yeah.
And that's how it happened. So basically it is only because of Lalita that Savithri happened. And there was no budget because it was a college thing. I said, doesn't matter. I said, is it okay it's your idea, it's you wanted to do it, but is it okay if we do it as a Smitale production? She was more than happy. That whatever little germ of a idea that was in her mind, matlab that kida came into my mind, and the kidani evdi vadvad keli that then it became a big thing. And then when I read the letters, when I read the poetry is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing in that time that Savithri Bai could think like that.
Yeah, even the letters are so direct, so beautiful. Because I noticed that in that you read out from the letters, in the ballad.
Like there's one poetry of Savithri Bai's Phulapakru. So basically it shows her how she's described the butterfly, Phulapakru. So it shows her love of nature, of how keenly she has observed the butterfly and how the butterfly comes and sits on the flower and what happens. But then how she's related it to life, as in Phulapakru, the butterfly comes, has its fun with the flower and goes away. It's like how a man uses his woman, has his fun with the woman, then he's not bothered. Means from nature and that how she goes into the way she's related it, it's abhi bhi bolte hue mujhe ye ho raha hai. It's such a beautiful poem. Or there is another poem where she talks about man. You know that what are you, man? I mean, and then Suhita renders that poem so beautifully.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
And
the idea was very good that she will do one Savithri and you will do another. That idea was very good. Was it yours?
That was my idea. That was totally my idea. That one Jyotiba and two Savithris.
Yeah, that was very nice. Was it the first time that in Bombay University?
No. The first one we did on, I think 2010 was Savithri Bai Phule, first performance, March 8th.
Okay.
Because Lalita had come to me for March 10th.
Okay.
To do it for them in their college. And then I said, because then when it started snowballing, I said, can we do it on 8th March? And she was very happy. And then we've done several shows of that.
Yeah, I know. Because I saw the one you performed in Bombay University.
Kalina.
Kalina.
That may be last year, I think.
Yeah.
Last year or year before last.
Year before last.
Yeah.
And maybe by the time you had performed it so many times that it was very smooth. The reading and dancing, everything went off very well and I loved it. Jhelum, you spoke about this ballet you did on Savithri Bai Phule. I'm very interested in this Lilavati that you've done. I think that you have done it because of your interest in mathematics. But Chandralekha also did a dance program on Lilavati. Have you seen it?
Yes.
I want to know whether yours was
I saw
differently.
it. I think I saw it so many years ago when I was not yet Jhelum Paranjape in Odyssey.
Oh, really?
I was Jhelum Paranjape in Odyssey, not, So, hers was very different as in she took 4 problems.
Yes, yeah.
She had live music firstly.
Yeah.
She took 4 problems. She stated them. There was no solution. That's it. It was beautiful.
Yeah, but she would come and give the answer. She would ask the audience what is the answer.
Yes,
then she would give the answer.
Yeah. But it was just that way.
Yeah.
Now, how my Leela, I was fascinated that time, absolutely, because I saw it at Ravindra Natya Mandir. I remember. My Lilavati happened in a totally different way because, see, we do a lot of performances for conferences, seminars, either inauguration or the last day or whatever. So we had done quite a few for TIFR.
Okay.
And when the Math Olympiad was hosted by India, everything was going to happen at TIFR.
Yeah.
So from one Mr. Raghunathan from TIFR came to meet me. In fact, it was his wife's idea. So whenever I give an interview like this, like for Savithri, I say it's because of Lalita Dhara. For Lilavati, I say it's because of Rama Raghunathan. But basically what happened is they had this one problem, which was the logo of the Olympiad.
Okay.
For the Olympiad, that problem was the logo. And they came to me first saying that, can you do the inaugural performance with your traditional Odyssey? And then quietly he said, we have this problem, can you put it to dance? So I said, don't announce it, because there wasn't much time, and Guruji's workshop was going on. So the whole day I would be at the workshop, then I would go back to class, and so I was not sure whether I would be able to do it. So I had told them, don't announce it, but I'll definitely make an attempt. The problem was, I'll state the problem?
Yeah.
Okay. And me being a math teacher, so for me actually it was my two loves coming together. My ex-flame and my
Current boyfriend.
current flame coming together, math and dance. So the problem was based on Pythagoras theorem. Like if anybody knows math here, they will be also excited. The problem stated that there's a pillar, and on the top of it a peacock is sitting. At the bottom of it there is a snake hole. The height of the pillar is given, and then we had told that from a certain distance a snake is coming towards the snake hole, and this peacock sees the snake and he swoops down like this, and he catches the snake. So we are giving the speed of the snake, we given the height, like we are given two, three things, and we are asked to find the distance from the snake hole where the peacock catches the snake.
Yeah.
So we have a pillar, we have this peacock's slant flight, and we have the snake here. So we get a triangle.
Yeah.
And so the problem is based on Pythagoras theorem.
Yeah.
So that was the problem that we had to do. So how I did it in live music. So how I did it first, and basically Lilavati, the daughter of Bhaskaracharya.
Yeah.
So we had a dance where Lilavati and Bhaskaracharya are dancing. I mean, the dancing means basically going through the forest. Then Bhaskaracharya sees peacocks and he sees snakes, and then he comes up with this problem and he does it. And that's how we put it up. It was a 10-minute, like one item in the Odyssey's dance style. And like in Marathi we say, lokanni dokyavar ghetla. Means they were, because the whole audience was just math teachers, math professors, math students.
Yeah.
So they like understood everything of what was done. So they it was a standing ovation, they wouldn't stop, and it was the first time like that for my group as well as me, that and well, I knew that we have to do this when so and anyway it was fun. And then I started thinking that if one problem has created such a flutter and so much excitement, then I got the Marathi translation of that book.
Okay.
Right now I have forgotten. No, I haven't forgotten. There are 251 problems in the book. Basically, it is a math textbook, Lilavati. It has problems and solutions and problems and solutions. So, I read the whole book. Me being a mathematician, this is school level geometry.
Okay.
And so, it was very easy. Then I selected problems from it. And they are math problems, but the Sanskrit language is so beautiful, because when I went to the Sanskrit Pandit, Vasant Bapat was a Sanskrit scholar too. So when I went to him with this, he said this is as wonderful as Jayadeva's Gita Govind.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that somebody else has also written so beautifully, and it so happens it is 12th century only. Gita Govind, I mean Jayadev Gita Govind 12th century,
Yes.
Bhaskaracharya Lilavati
is also 12th
12th
century. Okay.
So then how I thought, see, because I think whenever I create something, I always have this in mind that that fellow or person or whoever sitting in front has to enjoy it. I'm not doing it only because I'm excited. I'm doing it because I'm excited, but at the same time I'm doing it because whoever is sitting in the front needs to enjoy it. Sometimes I get criticized as in that sometimes I bring it for the classical fraternity, I bring it too low. I don't keep it at that, what shall I say, in my words, ununderstanding level.
Okay.
Okay, the very classic this.
Okay.
But I feel that if this is giving me, my dance is giving me so much excitement, part of it, some of it has to reach the lay audience. So I thought of having it as a story, a day in the life of daughter Lilavati and
Bhaskaracharya.
Father Bhaskaracharya. Like they get up in the morning and she's going for her puja. So she says, before that I'm going to go collect flowers. So he says, I'll come with you. So then on the way they see this, on the way they see that, you know. And so I created situations first through my thought and then through dance, created situations where the problem could be portrayed and then solved. Like for example, this peacock problem and all that was portrayed. Like we had the pillar as one boy, the peacock as one girl in a position completely like this, and the snake as another girl on the floor. So the triangle was formed on the stage.
Yeah.
Then to show square, like into, we had our particular turns. That was square. Then to show subtraction sign in our proper chauka position, this. So that's a, and to show square root, like square root is this. So we had a girl standing like this and our dhanupad. So it, like if you look at it like this, it looks like a human square root. So that's how, like every problem we couldn't solve, but wherever physically I could show something, it was solved. So that was my way of getting it so that people can understand it. Like there was one problem where something is kept and in front of a light, and so the shadow falls, and so you have two similar, you know, parallel lines and similar triangles, and that was the problem. Now how to get this, how to make it more interesting? I thought of a game of chess on stage. As in, like Lilavati and Bhaskaracharya have come home in the night, and I mean throughout the day they've done it, and they play a game of chess, and the father is losing and the daughter is winning, so the father stops the game, and that's when that one piece from the chess game is kept in front of the lamp, and how the thing is formed. But that is not solved, because then, you know, the game is stopped and things like that. But then as a visual, to have, like the dancers were the chess pieces. And if it's a horse, then how? If it is a soldier, how? If it is an elephant, how? You know, the different movements. And so basically that's how Lilavati happened. And I used Western classical music in it also.
Wow.
Wherever the humans were shown, it was Indian classical music. Wherever birds and animals were shown, I thought of using, because I was in love with Vivaldi's Four Seasons. I used to hear it often, and I used to always get visions in front of me when I used to hear that music. So I said, I want to use it.
You use Vivaldi?
And Anand Modak, he died just last month. He did the music for the rest of the thing, and he has blended Vivaldi's Four Seasons into his Indian classical so beautifully.
Oh, really?
It's beautifully done.
This is
we are going to perform Lilavati October 17th at Nehru Center. So you all can tell people, and
can come. And you're still going to use Vivaldi?
The same. That's the whole score is recorded now.
Okay.
So it's not live. So it's recorded. So we do it.